is up with all these bugs in Marvel Strike Force? We're discussing that on your Marvel Strike Force weekly news update. Also discussing how much value Kestrel has brung to people's rosters, how she's changing Marvel Strike Force, and should you be investing in Heroes for Hire? We're discussing these and a lot more with my brother Philosopher joining us via satellite. And if you're ready for it, Philosopher, tell us what to do.
Let's go farm it.
ValleyFlyin.
Oh, what is up, Valley Maniacs? I am back. Welcome to your Marvel Strike Force weekly news update. Joining me via satellite this week, everybody else is using Zoom. We are using satellite, is my brother Philosopher. Philosopher, how are you doing, my friend?
Hey, I'm doing pretty well. I've been actually moving to a new place, so not as good of quality here, but enjoying my time in between loading and unloading boxes to play Marvel Strike Force.
Well, I'm glad you are here and could take some time out to discuss all these issues in Marvel Strike Force, and maybe one day we will do a Zoom call together. But we got the satellite connection going today, and I do want to discuss the first big topic is the bugs. There's so many bugs in Marvel Strike Force, brother. And a few weeks ago, I interviewed Jason Bender, the creative director of Marvel Strike Force. He talked about they have a framework, a very old framework in Marvel Strike Force that's preventing them from doing a lot of things. It's very fragile, and it's anytime they do anything, things break, and that's become very apparent in 2021. Do you think it's now time for them to reinvest, spend all that money, all the $300 million that they made last year, and invest in a new framework to minimize this?
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I think that's a bunch of PR BS from Scopely, Foxes, whatever they're called nowadays. So, I mean, you got hundreds of millions of dollars. Look, you know what they could do? Take a month off from introducing new characters, lose a little money on not buying offers, and spend it on fixing bugs or getting their framework together. There's really no excuse for it, and I'll tell you, we saw that. I will tell you, I saw that this month when I had to take a night off from playing Marvel Strike Force. I had to play some other games because of their incompetence.
Oh, well, speaking of that, yeah, that actually happened this past week. And it was covered by many mainstream outlets. I don't know about many, but at least by this one, Game Informer. Update. Marvel Strike Force back online after an entire evening of emergency maintenance. This is what we're talking about. So if you guys were not playing last week, there was some compensation that went out last week. I think it was Thursday, for all the extra downtime that we had for this update. And the game they gave the compensation, and people were to claim hundreds of thousands, hundreds of millions of gold in their inbox. And for that, they brought down the game. What was going on with you in the game? Or were you streaming at the time? How did this affect you?
It was crazy because I had actually set aside my evening to stream because Collen Wing was being introduced. Ooh. And I on my stream, whenever there's a new character, I pull the orbs and level it up. We try it out, then stream it. And so I'm sitting there, and then I saw everyone sending me screenshots. They have 900 million gold. Some people were pulling red star orbs, and they weren't leaving their inventory, so you could just pull an infinite number of orbs. Like, all sorts of crazy stuff was happening. So the game went down very quickly thereafter, and then the devs gave us no update about what was happening. And no. I literally was DMing with devs and contacting them like, what is going on? When are you guys coming back? We don't know. What's happening? We don't know. When's it going to happen? We don't know. It was the most frustrating experience. And I ended up spending the night streaming other games. Like, I played Roblox with my stepdaughter.
Nice.
And streamed that. We played Hearthstone, World of Warcraft, all these other games that actually worked.
A game that works. I've been playing Marvel Strike Force for so long. I forgot that there's games that have no bugs.
Well, that was the thing, man. It reminded me of I used to play Hearthstone every day. I never was not able to play that game. Like, they never had unscheduled downtime, or my cards didn't work. I don't know. I'm just saying. So it's a little frustrating, man.
What do you think they need to do to fix some of the issues that they're having? I mean, some of this seems like it could be some complex thing. Some of it just seems like basic math, though. Nobody's double checking their work. I don't know what their QA process is right now, or if there is one, but it seems to be a lot less than it should be. Maybe going back and checking their work. I mean, what do you think is the solution for some of these problems?
I'll tell you, they have done some spreadsheet at Scopal Next or whatever the hell they're called. And they figured out that they can make more money by just investing more in developing new characters to sell us, new features to sell us, new things to sell us, costumes, whatever. And that's the issue. They don't lose enough revenue from this, so they don't care. And I think ultimately, unfortunately, it's going to have to require a commitment from that company or resources, because everybody I talked to, I had so many on my stream, IT folks, software engineers, different people who are like, this is a really easy problem to solve. You can have a QA department that solves this. And they just don't care. I think they're doing this on a shoestring staff in terms of bugs and QA and that sort of thing.
You know what? That sounds exactly what is happening, because if you remember in the interview, Jason Bender was saying, oh, when there's a bug, we pull people off of this team to go fix that bug, and that's why some of these things are delayed. It doesn't seem like they have a staff that's fully dedicated to fixing bugs, to solving their QA issues, and then there's It's they don't have a dedicated staff. They're pulling people off of other things about developing characters, developing the games, and I don't think there is enough punishment for when they have these bugs. And that's kind of the fear that the community had when Scopely took over. Games like The Walking Dead, Looney Tunes, how they're just Star Trek. They're just letting these bugs go on, but they're sending out these offers. They're making these crazy amounts of money. I think the profits just keep going up. They're having record profit months, and people are buying this stuff, so there's no incentive for them to fix these QA issues. But hopefully this is the catalyst that helps them to solve these QA issues, or at least address it, or get a dedicated team for this. Now, this is the communication that we did get in-game about the emergency downtime. And so they rolled back their progress. Any progress made between 4:50 p.m. Pacific or 4:50 p.m. Pacific and 5:30 p.m. Pacific on May 6th has been lost. This is a huge inconvenience for people about the lost progression. We're sending compensation in the near future, and we did get the compensation. It was pretty good, but is it good enough? I mean, this rollback, I think it had to be done considering this huge bug, but this creates some other issues that we're going to discuss for people that made purchases during this time. People that were not using the Red Star bugs, that were getting some good pulls. What happens to those people?
Yeah, it's a great question. So first of all, I know for a fact that people who purchase offers during that time period are still dealing with that. I actually have had people contacting me saying that they're still going back and forth with customer service at Scopely because they bought their Collen Wing offers or whatever during that time period, and they're waiting for their money. Their money is earning interest in the Scopel Next, whatever, Boundless bank account. Yeah. So that's a concern. I also just have to say with Cardi compensation, Valley, look, the one thing I give these guys credit for, their compensation is usually very generous. But one thing to keep in mind is they're just giving us like mobile game stuff. It's not like they're sending me a $20 check. So the reality is we all are getting the same millions of gold. We're all getting the same orbs or whatever. Yeah. And so essentially, unless you aren't playing the game right now, then it brings all of us beyond sort of where a new player might be, but it doesn't really help us, right? It compared to one another. I guess it helps people who are newer to catch up a little bit. But my point is, it's an illusion that this really solves the problem of not being able to play the game.
It is. I mean, if you think about it, they're giving us lines of code to our phone as compensation for their lack of QA and lack of testing things and lack of double checking things before it's released. And I mean, we've been talking about this for years now, and the problem still is here. I would think that the Gold Gate or the Orb Gate, I don't know if you were around for that, but Gold Gate was when they sent out this weird offer for gold super cheap. Some people got it, and then it's like, oh yeah, that shouldn't be sent out. Then they sent out a few offers after that. Orb Gate, instead of sending out 3,000 orb fragments, they sent out 3,000 orbs. And There was a lot of rollbacks that needed to be done, but then I don't know if you were playing when the snap happened, when they said, "Oh, we'll introduce this awesome alliance kick feature, so if their players aren't playing for a certain amount of time, then you'll be able to kick them." Well, half of everybody in Alliance, half of the entire community got kicked from their Alliance. That caused a bunch of problems. So this is not the first major issue, but hopefully this is now the catalyst that prompts them to change things.
There's that same, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. I mean, I do think at a certain point we have to accept this is what it is. But I will say, I am somebody, my channel, and whether it's streaming or YouTube, is all like a salt-free zone. Generally, I'm like super positive because just like you, I mean, we're here to have fun and play a game, right?
Yeah.
But it's just at a certain point, like I was just frustrated because it's like, what am I doing here? Like, why am I wasting my time sitting around waiting for them to get a game up? It's just like a waste of our time.
Because they couldn't double check things in the front end. I mean, somebody, taking 5 minutes on a non-live server for that inbox message that we got, like, oh, we're not able to claim this. Let's go fix this before we release this to the public. But I guess the operating procedure at Scope is, let's release it to the public and we'll fix the bugs after the fact. And talking about fixes for the bugs, and talking about the compensation, they do a good job of sending out compensation. This is when I was going through this, and this is some pretty good stuff. I look at this and I think I was made whole from the errors that they had, from the downtime that we lost, the time that we lost in the game. There's a few things that were missing, like some ISO 8 energy. But what did you think of this compensation when we got it?
Yeah, I mean, the first one definitely compensated us for the stuff we would have been missing. Here, this one is it's generous from an in-game perspective, right? I mean, it gives us a lot of stuff. As I said, though, everyone's getting the same stuff. So you got to think that all they do is just later on, they just decide to give us less gold in some event later or whatever, because that's how this is. It's just, it's not real money. It's not like they had to mint some money or send us some gold coins. It's just their imaginary stuff, right? So they just make something cost more in the future. But look, it certainly is always good. I prefer when they have bugs that only affect other people. I actually feel better because then I get compensation too for something that didn't impact me. This one felt worse because I had a wasted night playing Roblox and whatever, which is fine. It's good to hang out with my stepdaughter, but you know what I'm saying. It's just, it doesn't make you, it doesn't really make you feel good.
Yeah, so I don't know. Hopefully they get the message. Hopefully they get the message with this is the fourth major issue that comes to mind. There's probably a lot more, and then all these minor issues that keep coming up. And there is a lot of compensation. I think there's a backlog going on right now with what we were supposed to get. I mean, as far as what I remember, there was the purchases that were made during that window that the game got rolled back. So people didn't get it. I'm not hearing reports of it. So if you guys are getting some of that compensation, let me know in the comments. There's the mum. I don't know if you remember when Multiple Man got released in Red Stars in that featured event. For the first, I don't know how many minutes, he was not in those orbs. So supposed to be getting compensation for that. They did talk about that coming later in May in a blog post, but still not there. And then obviously for the delayed update where we were supposed to get the compensation not breaking the game, but we got the one that broke the game. So yeah, so it's still owed. Is there anything else that you could think of off your head that we're missing here?
Not off the top of my head, but I think part of the problem here is you almost forget this stuff. I didn't, until you read that list, I didn't even remember some of that stuff. I didn't remember Multiple Man's coming back to Red Star Orbs and all that, because it's hard to keep track of all their errors. I mean,
how sad is that? There's so many errors, we're losing track of them.
We need like a full-time guy to keep track of all their errors and the compensation we're owed, right? I mean, it's kind of crazy.
It is very, very crazy. Now, Cerebro was on Reddit here, and his response 4 days ago, this was from Friday, May 7th. We don't know ourselves yet. We're currently working on putting together a compensation package. When we are clear of this, we'll absolutely do a postmortem, identify our weak spots. Believe me, I'm frustrated as well. There is accountability. I'm not sure how it could show you proof of this right now, but I'm hoping that it will manifest with improved player experience in the future. Yeah, and the response with it is, you see how hollow your response is. Look from a player perspective, and it goes on, but it says, you're right. our actions speak louder than words. Or right now, our actions are not great. You need to get I need to get the team to commit to the necessary actions, and we'll have something reporting to you. Now, as of right now, we have not heard this report that Cerebro's describing here. What do you want to hear in this report? What do you expect in this? I mean, at this, it is just going to be words at this point, but what kind of actions do you want to see from Scopely to say, hey, we get the message. We're improving our QA process. We're not going to let this happen again. What would you like to see done?
Well, first of all, I got to tell you, I think they already screwed up. And I said this to Cerebro directly, and so I'm happy to repeat it. I won't say anything here that I wouldn't say directly to him.
Yes.
Which is, I think he screwed up by not getting on a video and saying, well, we could see his face to the entire community to apologize, to explain exactly what happened, to explain why it happened, and to give concrete steps of what they are going to do internally. Well, here's what we are doing internally. And then say, I will give you updates throughout the process. One thing, like, I appreciate that people are saying words, actions speak louder than words and all that. But then that is true. But what I don't want to have is like they go silent on us for weeks. Oh, well, we're working on it. And then it almost seems like some strategy hoping we're going to forget. I think they need to own, they take less responsibility than our kids would take, right? Or our friend, if I made a mistake, right? Like you say, I'm really sorry. Like you don't just sort of brush it off or ignore it.
Well, the first time, oh yeah, they made a mistake. But when it's constant and it keeps repeating the same exact errors, like what do we do now? I mean, you can keep saying this stuff, but my trust for you goes down. I don't know what to believe. I don't know what is true and what's not. More transparency, I guess, would be the best thing. I don't expect them to solve everything, but I would like to know what they're doing. Like, exactly what you said. What is going on? Keep us updated, keeping the community in the loop, because this is a problem that's been going on way too long, and not. I don't know. I guess people, the offers don't go down. People are continue to buy those. So there feel no punitive effects from it, but maybe this is the one. I'm hoping that this is the one.
Yeah, I hope so too, man. I mean, I think the reality is they've built an experience that for a lot of us has become a social part of our lives, right? We make friends. We have it. For me, I'll tell you, I started playing this in March of last year when the pandemic started, and it became a substitute for a lot of the social stuff we otherwise couldn't do. And it's fun, but, they're taking advantage of that. Is how it feels like to me. They're taking advantage of the fact that we don't want to leave our friends and we want to continue to have our fun. But everybody's patience gets tested. I'll tell you, every night that we aren't playing Marvel Strike Force because of their bugs or their downtime is the night we can get into some other games. So they better watch out.
Future Rev is coming out, guys. Stay tuned on this channel for some updates. But moving on to some more positive things about Marvel Strike Force. I mean, the bugs are horrible. I want to see a commitment of what they're going to do to change this and have at least a week of errors without errors. Excuse me, a week error free before I start making purchases again, because I'm just fed up. I don't see any solutions to changes, but. Now onto more positive stuff. This Kestrel event. I'm having fun with this Kestrel event. I think this is a good event here. Oh, let me switch you again. And what are your thoughts on this Kestrel event? And is this as rewarding as you would have hoped?
Yeah, it's actually more rewarding than I expected, because in addition, these event campaigns are always the best way for free-to-play players, for newer players to get characters, because if you use the refreshes on the event energy, you can get, a lot of orbs. I think you get, I do the 50s and 100s, so I get about 4 orbs a day. Yeah. Even if you do just the 50s, you'll end up with a 4-star character. That's great for a free-to-play player to get up the newest character. And here they actually had this milestones that gave us some extra shards and 3 red stars on the character. So I will tell you, Valley, I am hearing reports from people who are new players who have just started playing over the last month, and like Kestrel's carrying them already. They're unlocking her even in low gear. She's really doing some fantastic work. It's really a gift to the community, to free-to-play players. It's a positive thing.
Yeah, I like event release characters, and this is like an event release character plus those milestones, and they did it on arguably the best character in the game. I know she's changed a lot of stuff for me, but let's not forget all the these bits that were supposed to be in here. They were supposed to add up for Nick Fury, and we're supposed to get 62 or whatever the cost for Nick Fury. And again, basic math. People right away within a couple minutes saying, hey, we're not getting enough bits through all of these events to cover the cost of a Nick Fury outfit. And just yesterday we got the compensation for that. But I guess I'm glad they're giving the compensation, but more we need more testing, more double checking the work for this stuff. Are you excited for this Nick Fury costume? Is this a cool addition for you?
I couldn't care less about the costumes. I gotta be very blunt with you. I've never been an appearance kind of guy. I'm fine if there's costumes that are just cosmetic, because then there's people who are going to waste their money on that instead of on the characters. So that's fine with me. But I have no interest in a fancy costume. I actually think the costume looks kind of lame on Nick Fury, to be candid. Yeah, it's kind of weird. He looks like some sort of like pirate or gold shoulders. I don't know. Anyway, the bottom line is, I don't really care. I'm gonna care when they make it so that I need that to unlock something or to enter something. Right?
Don't give them ideas, Philosopher.
Oh my God.
But I do like the costumes. I'm just not going to pay for them. I'm going to grind for them. I'm going to do all these events for them, but I'm not going to pay for them. But let's talk about something that I know you're very excited about. Is Kestrel herself. Very, very good character, changing the game in a lot of ways for a lot of people. How has she changed the game for you since she's been released?
Wow. Well, I'll tell you one thing, is she radically transformed my experience in the skill nodes of the Doom Raid. Before this, I felt like I was using like a foam bat, to attack the enemies. You have no damage. Like you're trying desperately to get done before the time runs out, that sort of thing. You're never can seem to do much damage. Now I'm just blowing through these nodes. It's actually, with Kestrel and the right teams, it's actually easier than some of the other sections of the Doom Raid for me now, which is amazing. So that has been by far the biggest impact. I have also used her in Arena. I've used her in Alliance War offense. I think she's a fantastic character. So she's changing the Alliance War meta. I see her, a lot of people using her on defense. So I've had to come up with counters for her there, seeing her in offense. And in Arena, I have talked to some newer players who have climbed 100 spots in their Arena shard, for example. Good all around for
no matter where people are in the game. Kestrel's addition has been good. I guess the only downside is if there's no emotional connection to this character previously because she's an original character. But other than that, what she could actually do in the game, I think is a good thing. I'm in the same boat with the Doom Raids myself. Skill was very, very hard, but not anymore. Pretty much one-shotting all of the non-boss nodes into Doom Raids now, because I unlocked Baby Doom around the same time as Kestrel, so that changed of Doom Raids for me. But yeah, Arena, using her very strong on war offense, just changing it for a lot of players, and this event very, very free to play friendly. So I think that gives a lot of hope for players. Any other use that you're hearing for Kestrel outside of what we are doing? Maybe what are you hearing about Kestrel from newer or mid-game players?
Well, one thing is she helps with the blaster challenge. That's often been a very difficult challenge for players. So that has been very helpful for them as well. And then there's the last 3 nodes of Doom 3. You used to have to use power armor plus Shuri to beat it. That's the one where you get a free Doom to help you out. And newer players are having trouble because they weren't building power armor, and now they can use Kestrel. Makes those nodes a lot easier. So definitely been helpful. I got one thing I'm curious about, Valley. Do you feel bad seeing the power level of Doom, Baby Doom versus her, because you put a lot of time and effort and resources to completing DD4? How do you feel about that comparison, since you have apples to apples?
I like both of them. I mean, I had to stop building Kestrel because I wanted to get Doom for Dark Dimension 4, but I don't feel bad. I know some people are like, oh, we got Silver Surfer, people are unlocking Doom, and then Kestrel came out and kind of negates everything. I don't feel that way. I think she adds to it. She adds to my roster. She's giving me more teams in Blitz, more teams to attack for in War. Yes, she kind of counters Dr. Doom, but most people are using her on offense anyway, so I'm not running to problems where I'm facing an enemy Kestrel, except once in a while on arena defense. I usually don't see her on defense, so... I think they do different things. I don't think they're a problem yet. Now, once we start seeing her on the enemy's teams in PvE content, that's when I think I'll feel a little differently about her addition. But as of right now, not too much of a problem. How do you feel? Do you feel that this is too soon of another meta character right after we've gotten Silver Surfer and Doom for a lot of people that beat Dark Dimension 4?
Well, I do feel that part. In other words, I don't feel bad about Doom. I unlocked Doom back in January.
Yeah, you're number 4, the number 4 person?
Yeah, I was the 4th person to do it. So I put a lot of time and resources. That basically took up a ton of my December and January. And so I got a lot of fun out of Doom. And I will say this. I think Doom is awesome in raids in particular. Like, he just is a beast in the tech and the mystic sections of the Doom raid and in the Greek raid. So I'm happy with Doom. He's been very useful to me in a lot of game modes. But I wonder... are they changing things too fast? You know, one criticism I've gotten, Valley, is people ask me, why are you so focused on these new characters and saying to build these new characters? It's because Boundless, Scopely, whatever they're called today, they basically are constantly releasing these OP characters.
Yeah.
And I do think you'd feel bad if if you put a ton of resources into an older team and you're like, oh, wow, now it's totally negated by Kestrel. So I think, it's a lot of power creep really fast. And I guess I hope that they aren't going to do that for every new team. I don't think, it should be that every month we're going to get a character at the same power level as Surfer and Kestrel.
I don't think that we will. I think this is kind of a Silver Surfer was a big character, and then Kestrel was a release character, and they just were looking for a spot to release her, and it just so happened that they were right around the same time. I hope that's how it is. I hope it's not that they're going to continue to release a meta character over and over again. If it is, then my opinion on Kestrel and Silver Surfer will change again. But I think this is two characters that that are super strong. Two of the most powerful characters in the game that just happen to get released around the same time. Do you think that it was a plan? Do you think we're going to get these going forward?
I tell you, I think with Silver Surfer, that was certainly a big thing for them. I think they were trying to get us to run the Doom raids because people weren't doing it. So, they did the raid milestones and all this stuff to try to, the blue ice, so they're going to try to get people to run the Doom raid. I think Surfer was planned to do that. This, like you said, is an original character, so they want to pump that up. I get it. I'm hopeful that they're not going to do this every month. I also wonder, though, is there going to be a hangover for people? If they introduce a normal character, are people going to be like, I'm going to skip all the characters this month because they're not like Kestrel or Silver Surfer? I'm still upgrading them. I mean, that'll be interesting.
That's another problem that could arise from this. So many problems releasing these two characters back to back. But as of right now, I'm not feeling it too much. But yeah, that may change very soon. All right, a character that very, very exciting going to one that not as exciting for a lot of people. It is this one right here, Collen Wing. I was super excited to get this character. I like the character model. It is War D, unfortunately, so it's not the most exciting character out there. And as you can see, I did not unlock this character because this character was released right at the same time that all these bugs in the game went down. I was in the middle of making a video for this, and right about to purchase this character when the game went down. I was like, nope, not anymore. I'm not going to do that. So, what are your thoughts on Collen Wing? Did you purchase her? If you did, what are your initial thoughts on her and her performance on War defense?
Yeah, so here's what I'll say. I mean, I could tell your excitement for the character based on your power level, 105. That speaks volumes.
Zero stars, 0 gold stars, by the way.
There you go. On mine, I will tell people I did buy Collen Wing. I got her up to G15 and T4 to all and ISO 5. I do that partly for the stream. I would ordinarily do that over the course of several days just to get those, what are those, gold spender milestones, whatever they call them. Yeah. And I do it just on one day for streaming purposes and so people can see, people want to see. But I also am in like a Diamond Alliance, and I've been done with DD4 for so long. I had all this stuff sitting around hoarded gear. But I'm like the only person who should be, I'm like part of a very narrow group of people who should be building this team. because we've seen this before with these war defense teams. They introduce some uber war defense team. You don't even get to play. You throw it on war D, gets a bunch of wins, and then like 3 months later they introduce a kind of counter, and then 4 months later they introduce like some hard counter, and it's worthless, right? We see that with the teams. So to me, unless you have like a lot of resources, it's built up so you could just throw them away on a team that'll be like cool to have on defense for 3 months or 4 months, and you're that into war, then like, why are you doing this? That's sort of my view on it. I think most people should skip this tape. Yeah, almost everybody.
I'm probably skipping this. Now, there may be a reason that you may want to build them anyway, even if you're not a hardcore war defense. We're talking about the rumors and speculation at the end, but have you tried her outside of war though? Does she have any value outside of war? I really like how this character looks. I wanted her to be better than just the war defense character. So will she give players more value instead of just war defense?
So solo, she is good on the Doom boss node to make the one shot a lot easier. So one of my alliance mates has like a 6 red star. He's like built her, super high. Yeah. And he was eking out the one shot. And I have it on my channel, his initial one shot where he used Black Widow. He has like Kestrel Fury, Red Guardian, Night Nurse, and then he had Black Widow. So he replaced her with Colleen, and it's like it shaved a minute off his time. But that's a massive one that no one else who's going to do that, right? And secondly, that's like it. I mean, and all it's doing is shaving off some time on one node. And I will tell you, I've used the full team, the 3 members we have in RTA with like Squirrel Girl and Miss Marvel, and they suck. I just get rolled by all the super teams, right? Because everyone's got their dad bros and Zemo and everything, and I just get destroyed. So they're fine. I'm sure they're going to be great at war defense. How good, I don't know, but that's really all they are.
Yeah, I think they're really, really good on war defense, especially unless you're using a Silver Surfer or someone that could one-shot these guys and kill them and make them stay dead. They're going to be a problem for every other team. So yeah, they'll be very strong on war defense. Let's talk about the other release method, because Collen Wing is going to be a blitz release, and we also got note that Misty Knight in game is going to be a blitz release. So 2 blitz release characters in a row after many months of not having a blitz. And frankly, I was expecting a Collen Wing blitz this Thursday, and I guess we're going to have to wait till next Thursday. But what do you feel about blitz releases coming back finally?
I'll tell you, it's funny because people were speculating before this that they stop blitz releases. It's too easy to blitz. You can sim. So now they're moving us to that pass or whatever. And so I'm glad for those people. Some people love blitzing. I had these people on my stream, like the Blitz Masters or whatever. They are super into it. If you're into blitzing, like, great. I do think now they've made it so that I think because they have sim blitz, everybody can blitz. Like, I blitz, you blitz, we all blitz. And, it makes it, unfortunately, so that TCP matters a lot more than it used to, right? It used to be a high effort thing. So it is what it is. I mean, it's fine as a release method. It really is hard for newer players. They need to have like shards and, blitz shards and things like that. But I'm fine with it. And let's face it, we all have our blitz charges saved up at this point, unless you're a new player who's just going hard at every single blitz.
Yeah, I kind of like it. I mean, it's a grind. I think it's more player friendly than Strike Pass release, because you're getting, what is that? Just 42 shards just from the milestones, and not even hitting any tiers for that, and that's over the course of 2 weekends and not over the course of an entire month. So I think it's a little better than Strike Pass, but yeah, it's not as good as event release characters. But let's talk about this Heroes for Hire team initially. Now, you said they're more for the end game players. You guys are in Diamond. That's who should be when it is. But is another war defense team necessary? I mean, this seems like a very boring team. It doesn't seem fun. It seems very tough to challenge, but it's war defense. You don't even get to really look at any replays, because there's no replays. All you get to look at is a stat table and say, those stats look good because of this team that I invested so much in. How exciting are war defense teams now for players?
Yeah, I don't think they are that exciting. I think they are the teams that people get the least excited about.
Yeah.
You know, the devs, you were there. We were talking to the devs. So we both were asking questions before the release about what they meant here. And they're like, this team's supposed to be like a mini boss. They wanted to sort of make more defensive oriented. You know, I mean, it could transform war if they're good enough. I don't know. I mean, the devs always say these teams are good, and then we figure out a way to one-shot them, right? So who knows? But let's just, if they're right, and it takes forever, you know, it takes multiple attacks to beat this team. You know, certainly at high levels, that could mean things go the wars take longer. I think this team is meant for people who really care a lot about war. I mean, I talk to players who are like, that's the only reason I play the game is war. I love war. That's what it's all about. I want to get an edge in war. Well, this team will give you an edge in war. And I really have no problem with anyone spending their spare gear on it. And by that, I mean the gear, you know, you have sitting around, whether it's blue or purple.
Yeah, I heard that. Spare gear, not your main gear.
Right. Don't delay DD4 or be like, I'm not going to gear up Surfer or Kestrel because I desperately need to get Luke Cage up. But, you know, whatever. I'm all for that. And if you have a ton of gear, then go all out. But it's just, that's what it is what it is. Right. And I think when you look at it in that perspective, you know, it can give you, I think, a better perspective on things. Unless, like as you say, there's some rumors that are true. We could talk about that in a bit.
We will talk about that. But have you started Theorycraft how to beat this team? Because they get the 2 charges when they're at full health. So you're going to start the battle with 2 charges, the initial battle. The Silver Surfer can remove charges. So that allows you to one-shot this team. You got Black Bolt and what is the other characters? Kestrel on her ultimate. Both of them, Black Bolt on all of his skills, Kestrel on her ultimate can one-shot characters. So if they're above 50%, you're not going to get into that charge territory and they're going to stay dead. Other than that, are there any ways that you're seeing to beat this team as far as a one-shot? I mean, there's a few different ways you could do it as a 2-shot, but as far as a one-shot, outside of those 3 characters, any other teams that you've been theory crafting on how to beat this team?
You know, I've been working on it, and it's just a lot of ideas. I will say this. I think it's going to take a hybrid team that breaks up multiple teams that we're using now. So I don't know for sure. It's really hard to tell without them in the game. I'm one of these people, I hate when people just they put the things out there just based totally on speculation. So I'm not sure, but you know, they have, just to explain how hard it is to everyone, they have all these death proofs they throw out. You know, you mentioned that revive mechanic, so that hurts you kind of one-shotting, right? And then you've got the revive mechanic. You have to go for, like you said, from 51% to 0, because if you go under 50, then they go 100% health. And then you also have the fact that if you send in the SAC team, then they reset all the abilities with Misty's passive. So there's a lot of things that make it hard. I have some ideas. I'll try them out in war. Let my opponents see them in action first. But I tell you, I think the devs may very well be right that it's going to take a while to figure out something. And maybe the solution isn't in the game yet, that sort of thing. Yeah,
I mean, outside of those 2 characters, no one's seeing the one-shot. But as far as the 2-shotting, they will get their abilities back. But if you have them below 100% health, they're not going to do those charges. So that may be a interesting way to look at 2-tapping. But as far as one-shotting, it's gonna be a little rough, I think.
Oh yeah, this is not going to be like Doom. See, Doom, a lot of times people send in a SAC team, he uses his ult, and then you could just go in and clean up. Yeah. This is not that. That's what they wanted to prevent. And this is going to be, I think, an experience where you're going to have to figure out, okay, how do I remove the death proofs? How do I, you know, like you said, maybe you use a Silver Surfer to remove charge from 1 character. You're going to have 4 characters to remove charge. You know, how are you going to try to prevent them from reviving? All these potential issues. How are you going to deal with the massive damage that Colleen's putting out? You know, so there's a lot of problems. Yeah, a lot of problems, right? Yeah. So it's going to be, there are issues, but like I said, players find a way, right? We all thought Doom seemed unbeatable at first too, right? And now, you know, people are figuring out all the one-shots against Doom. So we'll see. All
right. So we got a blog post. Surprisingly, surprise, nothing about the game crashing or anything was talked about in the blog post. I guess reading some of the messages on Reddit, some of the responses, a lot of this is done in advance because they had to translate in different languages. I would have liked to edit on this and had them address it a little bit but nothing there. But we did get information about dark promotion credits. We'll be able to get some red stars for Ultron, red stars for Ultimus now, and I don't know. I'm not very excited about this. How excited about this are you?
You know, I'm not excited about it either. I got to tell you. First of all, 3 red stars on Ultron after all this, and you know, Scopely. Like I have like absolutely no faith in Scopely. So my thought process is this is going to take like some massive grind. Like I'm going to have to pull red star orbs for 3 months to get 1 red star on Ultron or something, right? I mean, they're acting like they're doing some great favor to us. So I don't know, right? And it's not like it's not like Ultron's like the linchpin of my strategy in any game mode anyway. So I don't know.
We were talking about this beforehand. Where are you using Ultron nowadays? I mean, even if you got a 7 red star Ultron, well, maybe not a 7, it'd be too far. Maybe if you got like a 4 red stars on Ultron right now, where would you use him? Because him and Doom don't go together. And who are you going to bring into Arena? Are you going to bring an Ultron that has a strong single target attack, or bringing in Doom that has a strong AoE attack? What about the raids? Are you gonna bring him into Doom raids over Ultron on those tech lanes, or are you gonna still use over Doom, or are you gonna still use Doom? And then War offense, he's good, but that's the only place that I'm using Ultron right now. Where would you use him even if you got these stars on him, even if the grind wasn't as crazy as we're all expecting it to be?
Yeah, well, the short answer is exactly where I'm using him now. You know, that's the thing. You're absolutely right, Valley. I mean, you can't use him with Doom because there's only so much space for the bots. There's like 5 spots for the bots, and you know they both spawn all these bots, so they kind of don't work well together. I don't really use Ultron in Arena. I mean, he has some use, I suppose, there, you know, but, you know, his value is to me, he's good with Kestrel. So, you know, he can be used. I could see using him in Arena offense, maybe with Arena attack bait with Kestrel, perhaps, instead of with Doom, maybe in a certain situation.
You need some testing, I guess, to see who is better, Doom or Ultron, but not both of them.
Not both. And in Alliance War offense, he's useful. He's good whether he's with Kestrel or with, you know, a lot of people use him with these other teams, Fantastic Four or whatever. He is a useful character, but yeah, I mean, he's not this world-beating character. They've acted so afraid to like buff that character or whatever. And I guess it's because we already have all upgraded him, and so they can't make more money off of it.
Yeah.
Of course, they figured out a way to do that. One thing I got to say, though, is what I've heard is you're going to get it. I don't like the sentence here. You see it. It's intended to give additional value when opening red star orbs, not when there's a specific character featuring. The rewards are going to increase.
That is total crap. That was total crap.
Total BS. So any experienced player saves their red stars, their orbs, and they open them when there's a new character, because we all have, you know, some level of red stars on the other characters.
Yeah.
And so now they're basically like, no, you're totally screwed. We want you to, if you really want red stars in Ultron, you have to like buy a bunch of red star orbs and blow them in an off time.
Blow them when there's no featured character, which is the beneficial way. So we're gonna get 1/10 of the value that we should of these. I mean, there's so many reasons to not be excited about these dark promotion credits.
Even when they find something, like everyone was excited red stars for Ultron, they find a way to like crap on it. So this is their way of crapping on it for us.
Yeah, so this is it. I guess. All right, so more silver promotion credits. That's good. We're getting 150 total, not 150 additional silver promotion credits, but I guess we're getting that in monthly login calendars. We're getting 6 more from Chaos Theory, and I guess through the Strike Pass, a new Strike Pass. Now it's not exactly clear if this is on the free version of the Strike Pass or the paid version of the Strike Pass, but 150 silver promotion credits a month still doesn't seem like a lot. Does that seem like a good number to you?
Well, it's something. I'll say that. I mean, they needed to do something.
It's better. I guess. Yeah. We shouldn't be always negative.
No, that's right. Well, they needed to do something, because here's the problem, Valley, is the mountain keeps getting higher and higher for new players. So, you know, I've been playing, 15 months or whatever it's been.
Yeah.
Think about, and I help a lot of new players on a beginner Discord. And, you know, think about starting right now and the mountain that it would seem like to climb, where you have 168 characters or whatever it is to unlock. You know, you've got all this, the
gear,
dark dimensions
red
to beat, and
ISO training mats for all those stuff. How many?
It would take forever, right? It's like a multi-year project. So they have to do something. So I think what they're going to do over time here is they're trying to basically catch everyone up on red stars and even the playing field on red stars. Now you may say, well, that's awesome. And that is, if you're a free-to-play player, if you're a beginning player, it's great because you're just going to get more opportunity to catch up. The downside is, though, it means the differentiators can ultimately be blue ISO, which they're going to sell us, right? Or force us to, run tough raids for. So just a preview, there's always some angle. That's the angle on this one.
That doesn't help the newer and free-to-play players, so that helps.
Correct.
That so the strong and stronger. It's not...
No, exactly. They got to come up with something to sell us, right? So that's what it's going to be. The only thing I will say about this that I do like about that is I hate red stars because I wish that instead of these orbs that are random, which is just annoying, I'll pull like 100 red star orbs and not get the stars that I want.
Yeah.
Is at least if they had a promotion-based system where it was all promo credits and I just bought credits and I just promote everything from zero, then I could choose. ISO is more that way. So I like that part of it. Like you farm it and you could just promote what you want. Even if they sell ISO, at least, I can promote the character of my choice. So yes. I do like that better. But, so frankly, the sooner if they did this and just got rid of red stars or made it standardized in a way that was less RNG based, that's really the solution. But they'll never do that because they make too much money on the characters as it is. It's an additional fee that we pay on top is blowing your red star orbs, right?
Hey, so. How good does it feel when you open a bunch of red star orbs and you get nothing except for these Elite 4 promo credits, and you open that and you get nothing? So it's just an inception. It's just like their ultimate orb system. It's just they need to reward stuff and not give it zero value, because you could get zero value. You could spend thousands of dollars on red stars and get zero value from it, depending on how your roster is. And it's very similar at the later stages with those ultimate orbs as well.
I was going to tell you, I feel that pain. You can go, people watch on my, get a perverse pleasure watching my pain on my YouTube channel. I put I have red star openings. I think I've opened 250 red star orbs for Kestrel, and I was trying hard to get 5 red stars and I couldn't do it. And they guys got to see me burn my entire stash of red star orbs. So it is what it is. It's just, I don't know. To me, it's not fun, but maybe for some people, gambling or whatever. I don't know.
No, it's. I don't think it's fun for them as well. I think it's frustrating for everybody that's doing it. I don't think anybody's like, oh, I love the randomness of red stars to keep this in the game. I think it's like, all right, well, we have to do this. I want to play this game. We need the red stars to be able to be competitive. I'm going through this because I enjoy the game, but this red star system sucks. I haven't really heard anybody that's like, I enjoy this. Anybody that's playing for any length of time. A lot of new players kind of like it because it gives them stuff, but the older players that have been playing and their rosters just not be able to control that is just it's not a good system in my opinion.
For sure,
and it needs to change. It's people complaining about it since day one.
Yeah,
but still very little changes. Very little changes that go on. All right, but Strike Pass. I think the big thing here, we got Polaris as a second character, and I think the best thing that I saw when I saw that, Misty's not going to be a Strike Pass character, but what do you feel about Polaris being in Strike Pass 2 months in a row?
Oh, I think she's a good character, so I think that's great. At least it's a character that now more players will be able to get to a reasonable star level.
Okay.
So I like that, that free-to-play players aren't just barely unlocking her. It's a good team, even at reasonably low stars, at 3 or 4 stars. I think it's a good team to have. But it does feel kind of bad if you've already gotten the character to where you want. In other words, it's more exciting to constantly have new characters in there. But, it is what it is. I'm okay with it. I do like the character a lot. I think she's very good on that team.
How valuable do you think she is to that team? Because most of my investment is into Dad Bros, not too much in Polaris, not too much in Multiple Man. And they're still able to do some crazy punch-ups against the Marauders. So do you think she's even necessary to build her up at that high gold and red star level to give her that value to that team?
Yeah, she's not necessary at that level. You're right about that, Valley. I mean, the Dad Bros are the core of that team. I kind of think to use an example of people are used to, it's like, if you have whether it's Black Bolt and Yo-Yo or Phoenix and Colossus built up of those teams, and then there's a character like Crystal, right, or a character like okay, this character or Cyclops, they like help. They can push, Cyclops can push that team up to a new level, or Crystal can push that team up to a new level, but they're not, as important, not as necessary. And if you have the two main characters big, you may not need her. Now in the future, as the team gets power crept, you might need her bigger and more. But she's a fantastic character. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I like her kid. I just was doing some big punch ups anyway. I'm like, I don't need to build her, but yeah, I guess at the higher levels maybe. What else? Oh, the real time arena. We got some changes to this. Have you enjoyed the changes? They seem more focused on the daily objectives, less focused on the weekly objectives. I don't know if I like that change. I like being able to go really hard for 2 weekends and then relax the last 2 weekends. Do you like, I guess it's not as bad doing it on a daily basis with the new objectives, but you're still doing it on a daily basis. Did you like it the old way or this way better?
I think this way is better. I don't like either that much. I will say that the new way is better because the old way, here's what happened the old way, man. They used to have these objectives like use defenders, and you'd bring in your like 50K defenders or 200K defenders, and then some guy would show up with like Zemo and the dad brawls and like roll you in 2 seconds. So now it's all about knockouts. So it's now like it's like a cancer fest where it's like you have your Zemo and dad bros and I have my Zemo and dad bros or whatever cancer team you have, Kestrel, whatever team you have, and then you just kill each other 30 seconds. Whichever side gets the right roll or gets on a roll first or slightly faster gets.
Whoever Zemo goes first wins the match, pretty much.
Basically, right? And so that's fine. I mean, it is what it is. It's not exactly fun, but it's better than me trying desperately to get like Daredevil to use 50 abilities or whatever.
Yeah, from that perspective, very, very true. The objectives are a lot better. I just wish there was more weekly ones and keep exactly the same, make it more focus on knockouts, things like that. And, I'm glad they removed defenders and all these weird teams and make it more broader traits. But I maybe there's a best of both worlds scenario. They keep tweaking this. What do you think about the character Shatterstar?
Oh, look, he's awesome. And one thing that's a frustrating thing, I think, for, Longshot and Shatterstar are really, really good characters. Wherever you put them, they're somewhere in the top 10 sort of characters, in my view. And there are, a lot of people skipped them the first time around because this is not like a character like Silver Surfer where everyone's excited, right? It's not like I have long shot t-shirts and Shatterstar t-shirts at home, right? It's like a character you're going out to see the movie. Oh my God, the Shatterstar movie's out. So I get it.
Shatterstar's dead in the movies.
Okay,
Shatterstar's
whatever.
not getting a movie.
Yeah, exactly. So whatever. So the fact that they're like, okay, if you only have two stars, because I have a lot of people ask me, I only have 3 stars on my dad bros. I only have 4 stars. When are they going to come farmable? So like this is good to me, not just because they're going to give some shards away, but also he's going to go to a Rita store next, which is not.
Oh, you're probably right. That's horrible.
It's horrible, but at least he's going somewhere. Or if you're free to play, you can get him. But man, those orbs are not very good, are they?
Maybe I should start. The orbs would be worse. I was thinking, stop farming Red Guardian so I can get Shatterstar. But yeah, he's gonna go to that stupid orb first, so that's even worse. But that's bad. I hope this means they're pushing characters through a lot quicker though, and then Scream will be out. Yeah, I hope this means they're pushing characters through sooner. All right, we got Black Bolt that returned this week. How relevant is he to the meta nowadays? He was one of the best characters when he first came out, but speed seems to be the thing nowadays, and that's something that Black Bolt has always kind of lacked. Is Black Bolt a relevant character nowadays other than that Ebony Maw unlock?
He's a fringe relevant character. I mean, certainly if you're a newer player and you're unlocking him, that's great. You need him for Maw, and also he will get used for you in Arena until you get to the end game. But at the very end game, I don't know about you, Valley, but occasionally you'll see him. 1 out of every 20 teams that you might see in Arena might use them, or because somebody's got a 7 red star. But he's more just a war defense character for me. That's really the only place I use him. I don't know about you. I think he's just a fringe relevant character at this point.
Yeah, sometimes I've been using him this week in real-time Arena, but I think that's just because of the objectives that I had. But yeah, I'm thinking I don't use him in Arena. I don't use him in the raids. He's not part of the best bio team because the symbiotes are in there. So I don't use him in the raids. I don't use him in except for war defense. That's pretty much where I'm using him as well. But we got some yo-yo shards, or we will get some yo-yo shards because of his release. So I guess that's a good thing. And then let's talk about the next character that's coming. We're getting Ebony Maw. You're gonna need Black Bolt to unlock Ebony Maw, so that is one good thing. Now, as far as Ebony Maw's relevance, I think Ebony Maw is still very relevant. I see Ebony Maw in Arena. I use Ebony Maw in the raids. I use Ebony Maw in war. Ebony Maw is still very relevant in my opinion. Are you still using Ebony Maw a lot?
I am. I don't use him as much in Arena, but he can be used there. I think he's still a very relevant character there. He is relevant, especially if you have Mystic objectives in RTA. But yeah, look, he's great in Alliance War. Black Order is going to be a top Alliance War offense team for some time, maybe a year or something, just like Uncanny was for quite some time after after Black Order was released. So I still think they're a very good team. And this is really helpful for newer players who, frankly, really could use Ebony Maw. Is so important in DD3, DD4, so helpful there. So to me, that's what I like. I like seeing him come around because he's a character that a new player, for example, can build up, and he can carry you far. He's also great in Ultima 7 and those raids. So definitely a very useful and important character still.
Yeah, and useful outside the Black Order as well. Same thing with Thanos. So you're gonna get a lot of value. So get if you did unlock Black Bolt, good, because now you can unlock Ebony Maw. I think that's the bigger picture here with Ebony Maw. But now it is time. Let's talk about some Datamines, baby. One of my favorite things to talk about, other than rumors. But we got some Datamines earlier this week about. We got a bunch. The first thing about these ability orbs. What is your reaction to this? It looks like we're gonna get separated to 3 different ability orbs. One that rewards T1 ability materials. One that rewards T2, and then the last one that rewards T3 and T4. I think this is a positive thing. What was your reaction when you first saw this?
Yeah, look, it's totally overdue. The current ability orbs are complete garbage. I mean, you basically get like some T2s and a few T3s. Like if you've been playing the game a while, like you have, I think something like maybe a 5 or 10% chance of getting 1 or 2 T4s in there. I mean, it basically is nothing. So I've been storing those orbs for a while because there's no point in opening them. I am disappointed. You can open them. Well, yes. But now they're. Well, I'm disappointed that I'm not able to get a rework on that, but it is what it is. So I will accept the fact that I just have to open those and take the trash out of those. And I'm glad that in the future we're gonna have orbs that make more sense. So that's good. Yeah,
this is a good thing. Both of us did a video on it yesterday. Some of the comments on this Datamine video that I saw was people really lacking these T2s, surprisingly. So. It's good that they're separating it out. So if you're missing T2s or one of the T4s or whatever, that's an option for you. So I think that's a good thing. All right, this was another big addition that we had. Silver Surfer shards changing, and I expect this to go live this Sunday when the raid season switches over. Switching it from milestone 28 in the raid season to start to reward silver shards all the way down to milestone 20. Now I don't expect them to change the total amount that you're getting. I just expect him to redistribute this as well. How excited for this were you?
I'm really excited, more excited than you might think, because I help some newer alliances and I'm in their discords and give them advice. And there's one alliance that I help that literally is on the verge of breaking up over the Doom Raid, where you've got several members that are really excited about Doom Raid, but they only got like 12% on their first attempt. And the rest of the alliance is like, we can't even beat one node. Why are we doing this? And I really see that impact happening in a lot of alliances. You see a lot of people now looking in recruitment stuff where they want, So I think here, now if you're in U7.1, you're going to get some Silver Surfer shards in a season. That's great. And it gives you an incentive to go to 7.2, 3, 4, 5. That's great. And I think, frankly, now that you have Kestrel and Surfer, if you get them up to a decent level, you should find a way to get to U7.1 with those kind of characters that everybody who's playing now probably has unlocked. So I think this is good for the community, because breaking up alliances, a lot of people have friends that they're playing with. I think that's a bad thing. So I'm glad that they did this.
Yeah, I know a lot of alliances were affected by this, especially in the times with all these bugs and just kind of a negative reaction from the community. So I'm glad they extended this. It may not make a big difference, but just giving more players more Silver Surfer shards, I think, is a good thing. And the total may not be different for some of the higher end alliances, but that's fine. I like that they extended it to everybody. We're getting some free Red Star orbs, baby. You gotta love that.
I'll take it. I'll take anything for free from these guys. Anything.
Any other thing is this. I have no reaction other than good free stuff.
Pretty much. Yeah, I'm not going to use them right away to get Ultron whatevers, but I'm happy to get them.
All right, let's move this up here because this is kind of good. I like this. I know you're not a big fan of costumes, but there's some costumes events that we can earn these bits that I hope they're learning their lesson with the Fury one, that they're going to go first and calculate this and reward a correct amount for the 7-day milestones. And I'm guessing we're going to be able to choose one of these. I don't think they're going to, in a 70 event, they're going to give us all 3 of these costumes, but they're talking about the Scarlet Witch costume, the WandaVision, the black and white one, the Vision one, and the Thor Siege costume. So if for hypothetical's sake, let's say that you get all these flash bits and you're gonna get a costume. Which one would you get?
I gotta say, I actually like the WandaVision ones. Look kind of cool. If these things were like 99 cents, by the way, I'd feel much better about these costumes. Okay, they want like $50 or something. It'd be crazy.
$50 for a character you're using on War Offense, and $33 for a character. Where are you using Captain Marvel? What difference is that going to make?
Well, it just changes the color. The character looks like the exact same too. But the WandaVision ones, like, they look kind of neat, especially if they change the animations or something. Like, I know my fiance and I were watching WandaVision. Whichever one, I'll let her pick out if she likes. Like, you know. She thinks Vision looks scary with the with the red head. So maybe if we'll get a Vision in a suit, that'll make her feel better.
As far as usage, Joe, I think we'll be able to see that Thor outfit the most, because as cool as Scarlet Witch and Vision look, I'm not really using them that much in the game. True. So I don't know if I'm going to enjoy these costumes. So Thor might be the way to go for me, just because of the usage, but I do like all those costumes. All right, let's talk about rumors real quick, brother. This is my favorite time. Now, we don't have a lot of rumors, so let's speculate on some rumors that both of us been hearing, and it's about the next legendary character. There's been rumors for a long time that the next legendary character would be unlocked by this Heroes for Hire team. But I'm also starting to hear rumors in chat. Hey, X Factor kind of makes sense. They're having Polaris go into Strike Pass a few times. So that means if you're not buying Polaris, then you might get screwed out of the next legendary character. What are you hearing? And based on that, what are you leaning towards as far as the next legendary unlock team?
Yeah, I got to tell you, I have not heard anything about Heroes for Hire. I know that, I think maybe it was Tana speculated on that and said Heroes for Hire press Kestrel, but I don't know where they were getting that from. And that would be essentially, you'd have 3 new characters, but one of them they're giving away a lot. Like, right? I mean, there's a lot of free-to-play players who'll be able to get her to 5 stars. So I don't see them doing that, candidly. I think Kestrel's its own thing. I think, like you said, X Factor. Yeah, I think X Factor is super rare where they've made it. I mean, there's tons of people who want long shot and are paying for them. That's all about the Benjamins with those guys. So that makes a lot of sense to me. Like you said, they're starting to have Shatterstars going to go to Blitz store, Arena store, probably, right? That orb that we all hate. We've got like Polaris in that's passed. That makes sense to me. I suppose you could have Axemen and then require Jubilee like they did with Black Bolt and Maw. So something like that. I mean, I think, there has not been a team that follows the sequence where you have like two old, 3 new, and maybe you could say
unless it's not a team, unless it's tags like they did with Villain Mystic Controllers for Phoenix. Maybe bringing the martial artist tag back is what I'm hearing as well. Because you got some hand characters, you got Collen Wing that fits that, you got Iron Fist that fits that. So if they bring those tags back, and we did see a screenshot of a hand archer on Twitter a few weeks ago, and that hand archer did have that martial artist tag, and that may be another error from Scopely, or it could be a hint.
That's interesting. Now that's insightful, Val. You see, you notice stuff I don't. Yeah, that's possible, man. I could see them doing something like that. I think that makes more sense than them doing, like you said, like the villain Mystic Controller, because I think when they do that, it limits their design space. Like, in other words, then they have to think now every time they put a villain Mystic Controller in the game, like, is it going to make it too easy to unlock Phoenix?
Yeah.
So I think they probably won't do it that way. But yeah, I could see new tags or a new team that comes out in the next month. But we're overdue, aren't we? I mean, you think MODOK? I keep hearing people say they think it's going to be MODOK because there's that new animated series.
I was hearing MODOK as a legendary character a lot last year. That never came out. Now I'm hearing that he might just be a normal character. We'll have to see. He does have a show on Hulu that's coming out this year, so I don't know what they're going to do with MODOK. I heard that he does have a finished character design, but as far as what is going to be release method, what is his power level, not sure about that. But yeah, I've been hearing Black Knight for a long time as well, as far as the next legendary. So that kind of would align with the Eternal movie. So I don't remember when that is supposed to be released, but that could be sometime around that time. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, guys. If you guys have heard any rumors or anything, let me know. Let's get the rumor trains going again. Philosopher, anything else before we wrap up here? It has been a pleasure talking to you, brother.
Absolutely. Look, I just I hope everyone recovered from that downtime this week and is farming the heck out of Kestrel.
I was going through withdrawals, brother.
Oh my God! I don't know. I was pissed. It's the saltiest I've ever been in Marvel Strike Force. But hey, it's all good. We're having fun with Kestrel and some of the new characters. That's what the game's all about.
Hey, I've said it before. This is such an interesting game. Things are going good. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. Things going bad. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. So regardless of what's happening, there's always stuff to talk about in this game, which kind of makes it fun. You could have fun with all that stuff. So thank you. Let everybody know where they can find you, brother, and what your streaming schedule is and all that stuff.
Yeah, so look, I got a YouTube channel that you can check out. Not too hard to find. And then I also have a streaming channel, Philosopher 1976. I stream most weeknights in U.S. times. I usually start around 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. Around then, sometimes a little earlier, sometimes later during weeknights. And then, of course, I also have a Discord. Below we get over 5,000 members and a lot of theory crafting and discussion there.
Cool. Well, all the links will be down below, guys. Philosopher's an awesome guy. Check out his videos. Check out his stream. And I will see you guys next time. Philosopher, once again, thank you for joining me on your Marvel Strike Force Weekly News Update. If you're listening to the podcast version, make sure you give this a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening to this on. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell for more great content on this channel and get notified as soon as it is released. Check out some of the sponsors down below, guys. BlueStacks is awesome. Amazon Coins is awesome. And I will see you guys next time. Hulk fist bump. I can't see your fist, but hold your fist up to the mic, brother.
It's there, my friend.
Hulk fist bump, ValleyFlyin, and Philosopher out.